Good morning, happy summer solstice, and welcome to my writer corner. Today I did not feel motivated to hit the lake again. I know it's been a couple of weeks, it's kind of ridiculous. Normally I'm out there religiously, but I'm still adjusting to this new job and still trying to be a responsible adult and all this other nonsense. So I have yet to spend nearly as much time on the lake as I had intended to. Um, but, anyways, it is the summer solstice, and I wanted to talk today a little bit um, about how the different um, solstices and equinoxes are handled in Terra. You may or may not have read my world building blog where I mentioned birthdays and how some countries celebrate birthdays on the summer solstice. Some of them celebrate them on the winter solstice, and then other countries the birthday is celebrated on the day that you're born, or some do like the first of the month that everybody was born. It depends on the culture a lot. Pay no attention to the yappy meal in the background. He wanted to go in before I started recording, so now he has to live with the consequences of his decision. Last week I mentioned Fairy Festival, and I was a little bit concerned up until this morning because things have been a little bit kind of dicey at my job, and wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it out. But as it stands right now, I will, by the end of this week, have 32 hours of work in, so I will still be able to swing all of my bills and whatnot and be a fiscally responsible adult, even though, adulting is overrated. But so anyways, the summer solstice, especially in Iskenderun and Kresdiv, are celebrated by a tournament. The Korolan Zephyroth is celebrated in the capital of Kresdiv, and then the Royal Tournament is celebrated in the capital of Iskenderun. So that is, in every country celebrates the winter solstice similarly. Now, in this book, it is split because a lot of the companions, Blythe, Mythos, Lyrin, Davin, Keiko, Jamian, and Alita all sail to the southern hemisphere because the Solbreck is mostly in the southern hemisphere, which is also where Nestapor is located, which is where Isadora and Glaber headed. So they will be also celebrating the winter solstice. Same with Nafir, Hajib, and Kimshira. Meanwhile, Anya, Gordon, Terra, Quent, Kaylin, Willow, and all of their supporting cast will be celebrating the summer solstice. And the Vakaran, interestingly enough, I don't believe that I actually addressed the summer solstice in that particular book, or in this book this time. So that is definitely something that I'm going to have to go back and correct. Um, like I said last week, talking through this a lot of times helps me to process different storylines and whatnot. Um, and then a lot has. So, yes, and the elves being beings who celebrate the stars, they definitely celebrate the summer solstice. It is something that I need to go through and address because Tarek really, I don't recall having put it in to his storyline as prominently. Quent definitely it's addressed, but not nearly as heavily as it probably could be. Um, but I am currently in the process of processing through um, Blythe, Mythos, Liren, Keiko, Jamian, Davin, and Elita's storyline. I'm currently somewhere maybe a third of the way through the second chapter because the first chapter of their story is them crossing the sea, and it was significantly shorter than I had expected. So I took a chunk of their second chapter, and I'm throwing that onto the first because it kind of continues to flow right up until the point where they come across another tower. Now, those of you who have read books 1 and 2 are familiar with the different towers that especially Blythe, Mythos, and Jamian have encountered. Liren was with them for the one in Nishan, and their party has since grown for the one in the Soul Spine Mountains. Also, as far as my books are concerned, starting July 1st, which is next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, Wednesday, all 5 of my Zoe Jane books, Way of the Fist, King's Champion, and Way of the Fist, Royal Emissary, are all going to be available for free. Allies Deceit will be available for 99 cents. So make sure that at some point you go through. I will definitely include the links in the description below, as I always do. I will, come Tuesday, be talking about, I haven't decided yet if it's going to be Blythe, or if it's going to be Mythos and Keiko, or if it's going to be Liren and Davin, or if it's going to be Jamian or Alita, but, or some combination of any of those characters, but those will definitely be talked about. And then in my world building blog on Wednesday, I have every intention of doing some backstory on Alita, because she is shaping up to be a relatively prominent character in book 4 as far as like Blythe's storyline is concerned. She will definitely be in book 5, and after that, I don't know, I guess we'll see, because I really don't have as much planned out for 5, 6, 7, and 8 as I have for the first 4 books. Blythe and Mythos, the Coralon Zephyroth, the tournament in and of itself, and that whole storyline has been done in large part for pushing 20 years. Everybody else's storyline I have been writing over the last year and a half-ish. Especially since I finished out Ally's Deceit. That has been full tilt with Kaylin, Tarek, Anya, Isadora, their storylines. Let's see, what else? So, yes, so no, I misspoke. The summer solstice in Kresdiv is celebrated differently. Their winter solstice is when they celebrate, or when they hold the Corlan Sephiroth. So that was my bad. I misspoke. My brain keeps forgetting that they are in the southern hemisphere, while Dabash is in the northern hemisphere with the Skendron and that whole royal tournament. So Kresdiv is the they still celebrate the slaying of Winter and the return of the Spring Maiden. They just do it slightly differently than most of the other countries, because they hold a massive week-long tournament. They also have the Bardic competition, which will definitely be getting handled in the next couple of chapters. This week is going to be interesting because as it stands, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, well, Monday and Tuesday are production. Wednesday is our teardown day. Thursday we may or may not be able to do sanitation. As it stands right now, it looks like sanitation is still going to be able to get in there 8 hours, which is why I said I should still be able to go to Fairy Fest, which makes me very happy because I spent the money, I did the costume, but either way the car's got to go into the shop on Friday, so yay for that. And Thursday is lunch with the family. I will probably be throwing up a little TikTok video there as well. I'm planning on giving into adult peer pressure at some point because, it's been like 3 weeks since I mowed, and I get the stank eye from my neighbors if I don't keep my yard at least semi-respectable. Depending on how Friday is looking after the beast goes into the shop, I'll either be hitting the lake on Friday or Saturday. I have a grad party to go to Saturday. I haven't formally been invited to my uncle's 70th birthday party, so who knows? I may show up, I may not. I don't know. But, so yes, midwinter for half of the storylines, midsummer for the other half, and as I said, today is the summer solstice. I sat out front and watched the sunrise after 4 hours of sleep because, I didn't work on Friday and I didn't work on Saturday. And so Saturday, I worked on editing, and I went through 2/3 of a pot of coffee. I laid down a little right around 1. I was back up at 5. So I watched the sunrise and then brought the idiot out for a little bit. And then I sat down to record this. So, longest day of the year. Now it starts to get darker sooner again, which is also how things work in the world of Terra. So there's that. And then As far as the winter solstice, again, it's the reverse. Shorter days start to get longer again. And that's, I mean, once we hit the Corellon Zephyroth, I split up into 3 storylines. Because Blythe is doing the unarmed combat. Mythos is fighting in the weapons part of the tournament. And they each end up acquiring some new acquaintances. And then, so those storylines are followed. But then you've got Jamie and Laren and Davin kind of doing their own thing, and so that is a whole separate storyline as well. And but it's one group, it really is. So that group, and then Isadora and Glaive are in Nestapor dealing with their own thing, and their storyline also broaches the winter solstice. And Isadora actually makes a comment about how it's kind of unfair that she just had a winter solstice not too long ago, and then it was spring, and now it's winter again. But that whole storyline is shaping up to be really interesting, and I just totally had a diabolical plan for a plot twist for that, which I am not going to divulge because I am not going to spoil that one. So, sorry. But anyways, yeah, my little idiot needs his treatses, and I'm going to go back to editing. So, thank you so much. Have a great, safe summer solstice. Enjoy the longest day of the year. And remember that I am under no obligation to make sense to you. Bye-bye.